Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joanna. I am an intuitive healer. Okay, that's what I was just asked to say. I channel information that is presented to me from other dimensions, from positively intentioned beings whose desire and honor is to help humanity. Help in what? Oh, well, to help humanity raise its level of vibration, essentially to raise its consciousness, and thus helping Mother Gaia's consciousness to rise, or vibration to rise. So we are in a process of great awakening, as you probably already know. So my communication with these higher beings is to always help you understand the depth of who you are, who you truly are, underneath the stories you tell yourself, underneath your feelings, your emotions, certainly whatever is beyond your physical body. Because you are, if you are watching this type of information, you already know that you are not just a body. You see your body, you can see yourself as a body, but you are not the body itself. So my job is to help and bridge that awareness, the body you and the you that is not the body. Bring those two components within you closer together so that they're in a cohesive vibration. What does that do? What does that really mean? It simply means that the spirit and the body become one, rather than experiencing life through the illusion of separation. And I'm asking the question, well, what's the big deal about separation? One, it does not allow you to feel as one. In other words, we have a tendency to feel incomplete. When we are in the vibration of separation, we have a tendency to think and believe that we are incomplete, that something is missing. Yet, nothing could be furthest from the truth. However, what may be missing is the awareness you have about you in terms of who you really are. If you don't see this other aspect of you that's bigger than the you, your human version, then you will not feel complete, because that aspect is also a part of you. And that aspect is inherently yours. It's within you right now. Your soul, if you will, your divinity is within you right now. It's in you now as we speak. So, if humanity denies its inherent divinity, then humanity lives in a state of separation, or a space of denial of the true self, which is incredibly powerful. Again, you being here likely know this. So, back to earth. Joanna's job here is to kindly present to you information that comes through to her in order to help you see that which you cannot see right now with your own human eyes and with your human intellect. Let us remind you that you are also more than the intellect that you possess. You are more than the human mind. In fact, you are the mind itself. The mind as in mind, that is the all. You are all that. Yet you may not have the remembering awareness of such. So Joanna's job here is to communicate information that will help you bridge that gap between the aspect of you that is divine and the aspect of you that is the human. So that once again, you can feel complete. What's the big deal about feeling complete, I ask? Well, for one, completeness makes you feel loved. It makes you feel like nothing is missing. In other words, it keeps you in a state of constant abundance rather than the vibration of lack, which is lower vibrating and also very limiting. So humanity is rising right now from its lackful space to its inherent abundant space. Notice I'm saying the word inherent. Abundance already lives within you. You may not see it. You may not believe it. You may not allow yourself to be that vibration. But why wouldn't you want to allow yourself to be more than the lack you're experiencing? Well, for one, you don't know any better. You don't think about it. It's never been addressed in your life. Nobody knocked on your door and say, hey, by the way, you don't have to live like this. You can live this way. Did you know that? In other words, you may not know you have a choice. You may not believe you have a choice. You may not be aware of the choices you have to experience that higher vibration. Yet here you are asking exactly that. For that, whatever your reason is for being here watching this is exactly what you're asking. It may not be your conscious asking to the universe, but that is exactly what you're asking. You're asking, show me more of myself. Show me my true inherent identity. That's what I want, universe. Why? Because you know that when you embody, when you see your true inherent ability, your true inherent identity, if I may say, that's extraordinarily powerful, which means when you embody that, you embody your own power. Who doesn't want to feel powerful? And I'm not talking about the ego power that sits on the throne and tells you what to do. That is someone in powerful position that has a certain agenda. And some agendas are good, some agendas are, leave a little bit to be desired for. Nonetheless, power, the great power within you is always there. Doesn't go anywhere, doesn't move anywhere. You are inherently it. But it's not the ego power. So I don't want you to confuse the ego power of being in a powerful position. Yes, of course, you can have a powerful position with a label, but that's not the type of power I'm talking about. I'm talking about the power that allows you to experience your fullest potential, your fullest realizations. That kind of power kicks ass. Humanity is going through a little bit of a quote-unquote ass kicking right now. It's like something is telling us to move forward, but we don't know where we're going. We're confused. I don't want to go forward. I want to stay. No, you can't stay. Life is constant movement. We have to keep going. So humanity is in a state of a lot of confusion, and perhaps so are you. So Joanna's job is to help and perhaps lessen a little bit of that confusion so that you become less confused, so that you are more clear. And when you are more clear, you imagine a lot more possibilities that you may not have thought of before. You see things for what they are. You see, quote unquote, the various types of agendas. And when I say agendas, I don't just mean bad. In spirit terms, there is no such thing as good and bad. Everything is inherently valuable. So you are likely going through your own experience where you are likely experiencing a lot of confusion. Where am I going? What am I doing here? Is this what I want? I don't know what I want. I want to go home. I don't want to be here. What's in it for me? Why is this person getting this and I'm not? Man, this is hard. Sounds familiar? It should, because it's part of being a human being. And these are the sort of things that go through one's mind when one is going through a massive transformation, such as one you're going through right now, and such as one humanity is going through right now. That in itself is a massive shift of vibration. We are all undergoing a massive shift of vibration, like it or not. You can't help it. The only thing you can do is you can resist it, but even that is not gonna make any difference at the end of the day. You can't resist this shift. It's happening. The only thing is that if you resist, you'll make it harder on yourself. Okay? You can't get away from it. It's not happening to you. You are part of this extraordinary moment in humanity's lifetime. Okay? You chose to be here, believe it or not. What the hell was I thinking? Wow. You were not really thinking, you were desiring to have an experience. And some of you have said, the harder the better. Yes, I like a challenge for myself. And you come down to earth, the veil of forgetfulness goes over your eyes. You forget who you are, you have a challenge in front of you, and you say to yourself, what the hell is this all about? Yet you don't remember that you've asked for it. It was your desire to be here. I didn't desire to suffer. No, but you knew that suffering is part of life. And you chose to be part of this human life at this particular moment, in this particular time. And suffering is part of this experience that you are having. But what if you could lessen the level of your suffering? What if you had less suffering and more of something else? Would that be okay with you? Of course it would be, because there is no human that I know that says, can I please have more suffering? I'm really enjoying that. No. Yet suffering is there. Suffering occurs. Suffering is experienced in whole sorts of different ways. And we are the human experiencing this suffering. Now let's look at it this way. Anything we experience in life, anything we go through life, has a tremendous level of knowledge within it. It is information. I want you to think of your life as information. Your entire life is information. It's vibration. It's knowledge. You are a walking knowledge. It's not the type of knowledge you necessarily think of when you say, I went to school and I learned this, I have knowledge. No, this goes way beyond that. You as a being is a walking knowledge. You're walking information. You're walking vibration. And you're so much more than that. So, since everything in the universe has its intrinsic value, that also means that suffering has its values. It has a purpose in some way. A purpose we may not be able to see yet, and that's okay. Nonetheless, the purpose is always there. And it's the meaning that we derive out of this purpose. In other words, our suffering is very meaningful to us as a humanity. Suffering can give us a sense of purpose. When you see someone suffering, you are desiring to help. We are all here to help one another. Do you realize that that's why you're here? You're here to help. You're here to help rise and help other humans. Not rise. You're here to help other humans rise their own vibration. And you are also here helping Mother Gaia through her own process of initiation. She's moving to a different vibratory realm. Let's use that analogy. And you being part of her are naturally going with her. This is why some people are choosing not to go with her, because it's too hard. For some souls, it's too hard to be here during this massive, enormous shift, one we haven't seen for eons. Your soul desired to be here during this profound time. But let's get back to suffering. In fact, part of your experience as a human being here is to grow and learn through suffering. Some of it is through suffering. Because if everything has its purpose, if everything has a meaning, we must then say that suffering has a meaning too. Can we grow from our suffering? Can we look at our suffering and say, oh, I'm never going to do that again? Or this gives me a different perspective on life, or whatever we gain from the suffering experience. Remember, if it is an existence, it must have an inherent purpose. The question then becomes, can we learn from it? Can we understand through it? Can we become more of, because of what we are experiencing? Can we learn from this experience? Yes, it's tough. You didn't choose an easy way. Remember I said at the very beginning, some of you had said, the tougher the better, please. I really want to take advantage of this opportunity to be here on earth. I want to kick ass. And although you may not feel that way sometimes, though you may not feel like you're doing some ass kicking, pardon me the expression, you are doing just that. You're kicking ass. It may not feel that way. It may feel like a challenge or two or three or four all at the same time, and you're sandwiched between those layers of challenges. But you are in actuality kicking ass. You're doing fine. You're doing more than fine. In fact, you're doing great. I did not choose this experience. Oh yeah? Who did? Who chose your experience? God chose it for me. No. God doesn't choose for you. God gives you free choice. You have free will, remember? You always have free will. It may not feel that way at times. Heck, sometimes you go, free will bullshit doesn't exist. Depends which lenses you're looking through and from which perspective you are seeing. There is a choice. Believe it or not, there is even a choice within a suffering. For example, a choice to suffer less. Well, how can I suffer less? Well, let's look at it. If you had a choice to suffer less, not to completely eliminate suffering, because let's face it, it serves a purpose. But if you had the choice, if you would design your experience of suffering less, what would that look like? Would you fight less? What would that look like in your own life? I just heard I would take care of myself better. Okay, so perhaps part of your own suffering needs to include you taking better care of yourself. Maybe the reason why you suffer, you in particular, is because you don't take care of your own needs. And you want someone else to take care of your needs. They barely know how to take care of their own needs. How are they going to help you with your needs? I'm talking about emotional suffering. Okay. And just for clarification, I'm also not saying that if somebody's attacking you, that somehow you're having this experience and you're having fun and you're in so much joy because somebody's attacking you. Because what you really want to do to someone who says, oh, you chose this experience, you want to punch them in the face. Because in that moment, you don't want to know that you chose this experience. That's not what you want to know. That's not what you need. What you need is help. Okay? So if some of you are in a situation where you are being, God forbid, not being attacked, but maybe like feel like you're being attacked by someone or something, maybe for some of you, it's learning how to ask for help. Perhaps some of you are too afraid to ask for help. Perhaps if you believe that when you ask for help, somebody's going to take advantage of you. If that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. But it's interesting that you would have that belief. Why would you have this belief that somebody would take advantage of you if you ask for help? So this is a specific message to someone. Okay? Are you having difficulty asking for help? Ask yourself this question. Are you having difficulty helping yourself? Or maybe you don't know how to help yourself. If you don't know how to help yourself with your own suffering, whatever it may be, of course, and I hope nobody suffers, but let's face it, suffering is part of life. Can we just say, okay, got it? Can we suffer less is the question. So if you are experiencing some sort of suffering, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, ask for help. Ask someone for help who you feel will be able to help and shed light on what it is that you're suffering with and help you with this, your form of suffering. Ask for help. I just heard someone say, I've been asking for help and nothing happens. Oh, really? You mean those people that came to you and said, hey, would you like some help? And you said, no, thank you. Almost as if it was a automatic response. No, thank you. And you're saying nobody's listening? Nobody's asking you if you want help? Oh, yes, they have. You just dismiss it. It may not be someone knocking at your door and said, hey, I was sent by the universe to help you. No, it requires you to reach out. Because even if someone came to you and knocked at the door, and they were the messenger from the universe wanting to help you with your specific situation, but you didn't open the door because you were afraid, doesn't mean the help wasn't there, just you were afraid to receive this help. Are you afraid to receive help? If yes, why? I just heard a question. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. What do you want to do? What if you had a choice tomorrow? You woke up and the universe said, here's a magic wand. You can create whatever you want. Be mindful. Be gracious. Don't hurt other people. What would you want to do with yourself? I don't know. Well, maybe it's time you find out. Because if you don't know, who knows? If you don't know, you will go to someone to tell you because you think they know. How the heck will they know? How will they know what you need or what you want? If you don't know, how will they know? It's impossible. They may make a suggestion, but how will you know it's true for you? If you don't know who you are, you're not going to know what's true for you. How do you know if it's true for you? You can feel it. It feels a certain way. If it's not for you, your body generally says, eh. So you have a mechanism built in within you that gives you cues whether something is for you or not for you. It's almost like a built-in protective mechanism. This lunar eclipse that's happening on May 5th is an interesting energy. We just had a solar eclipse, so we are being sandwiched between two eclipses. That's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. And as we are sandwiched between those two eclipses, what I'm being shown, it's creating this pressure. It's creating this pressure. And as we are experiencing this pressure, it looks like certain things are being taken out. It's like we are getting rid of, releasing, letting go of many things during that period. And I feel like this is going to last for about 6 months. It feels what I wrote as almost like a graduation of sorts. This eclipse season feels like a graduation. I'm not an astrologer. It's purely what I'm picking up intuitively. And how I feel, because I've been feeling a lot of ups and downs, and we have the Mercury retrograde on top of it. So it's like a whole bunch of fun happening all at once. And it's in Scorpio, thank you, a very emotional planet. So chances are you are going through your own emotional ups and downs right now. That's okay. It's all part of the process. The best you can do right now with wherever you are and whatever you are suffering with, and I hope you're not suffering, of course. Nobody wants to suffer. Be kind to yourself. For some of you, don't be mad at yourself because you've done something wrong. Stop berating yourself. Stop putting yourself down. If some experience didn't work out, look at the experience and choose to grow from the experience. Learn from the experience. Take that knowledge forward because it enriches you. We have a lot to learn right now. A lot. First and foremost, we need to learn how to effectively communicate with our true selves. How to bypass this box. Because this box almost serves as a shield that shields human aspect from this spiritual aspect. Let's use that analogy. And the universe is full of knowledge. It contains it's knowledge. The universe is knowledge. It's information. Okay? So we're all surrounded by this incredible amount of information, and even just putting the word amount makes it limited. It's unlimited information. We all have access to it, day and night, 24/7. However, this, between the ears, that goes round and round and round, prevents us from tapping into this higher knowledge. It keeps us stuck in our own minds. Keeps us afraid. So in terms of knowledge and what we are learning right now, I, as Joanna, I'm going to ask the question, what are we learning right now? You're all learning how to be yourselves. Potentially for the very first time. What does it mean to be ourselves? I'm asking the question. What else? It's to be you. It's to be who you really are. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? Who are you? Well, my name is Joanna and I live here and here. No, that's not who you are. That's Joanna. That's your identity. That's your avatar. That's part of your experience. That's not who you are. Who are you? Do you know who you are? Do you know where you belong? I don't belong anywhere. Well, how is that even possible? How can you not belong anywhere? That doesn't exist. The universe is all-inclusive. It contains all within it. You are part of the universe. That's where you belong. If you're feeling unsettled and do not know where you belong, that's because chances are you are very unsettled within you. You forgot that you are the entire universe. By being part of the universe, you are the universe. You're part of the universe. Just like a drop of the ocean is part of the ocean. The drop is the ocean. It's not the ocean itself, but it's part of the ocean. You are part of that greatness. That's who you are. Holy shit. You mean I'm greatness? No way. There's no way. I don't believe you. Why? Why don't you believe me, but you believe other people? Why? Well, because you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. I'm trying to show you who you are. Not who you're supposed to be, not who you are taught to be, not what you were conditioned to be, not what you think, not what you feel. No, that's all part of your experience. Have that. Knock yourself out. You as the greatness you, that's who you are, and that's who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to that part of you. And that there's a part of you that knows that already, that hears this and it goes, yep, I get it. But my person here, no, they're not open. They keep on insisting that they're small, they're inadequate, they don't have power. I can't get through them. Well, maybe with my help, I will get through to you. It's not who you're supposed to be, it's who you choose to be. I'm going to throw in a very controversial topic for the moment. Seems to be controversial these days. I didn't choose to be a man or a woman. Maybe that's how you feel. You chose your body to be a certain way. I'm waving at my guides here and I'm going, no, that's a controversial area I don't want to get into. Thank you very much. Just park it over there. Who you are and what you believe yourself to be are two different things. Okay? There is the you, the truth you, and there is the you that you believe. Two different things. Okay? The idea here is to incorporate those two aspects. The you and the greatness you, to live in harmony. Okay? Rather than in disharmony. Well, how do I live in this harmony? Well, for example, if you don't believe that you are greatness, and if you insist on being and feeling and telling yourself that you're small, if greatness is your truth, your experience as you is small, then you are not true to who you really are. You are at odds. Boom, 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 boom. You're at odds. That's not true. Oh, yeah? Then why are you listening to this? You know it's true. That's why you're here. You're here so that I can help you remember. I'm not here to tell you anything. Certainly not to tell you anything new. You are greatness having an embodied experience as a human being, 3D life. That's your experience. That's not you. I don't like what you're saying to me. That's okay. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to accept a damn thing. No. Throw it out. But if you have this inner voice, if there is some voice within you, you probably know that's true. You've denied it. You've been taught to deny it. You've been taught to think a certain way that is not in accordance with your divinity. But you know it's there. That's why you're here. Otherwise, you would not be listening to this. It would just bounce off of you. Okay? You are here because you know who you are. You're just having trouble with remembering. And because you can't remember it, you can't access it. Okay? In order to access something, you have to remember that there is access to something. Okay? I'm going to throw in a controversial statement. If you don't believe that you can access God, Buddha, Source, you're not going to access it. Period. You're not going to allow yourself because you're told you're not allowed to have access or you can't have access. No, it doesn't exist. There's nothing more than your body. That's just it. You just go to the ground, that's it. What a waste. You mean 70, 80, 90, 100 years of experience just goes to waste? Like, wait a second. How does that even make any sense? You are an infinite being. Your body expires, yes. But you wouldn't want to be in this body for 300, 400 years in this condition as the world is right now. That's far too long of suffering. So what we are hoping to accomplish here is to lessen the suffering. Help you lessen your own suffering. So that perhaps you can help others lessen their suffering. And therefore, lo and behold, the world, the Mother Gaia, begins to experience less suffering. Do you want more suffering in your life? I guarantee you do not. I guarantee you do not. Can we learn from it? Can we experience something more because of having gone through suffering? Can we become better at something? Can we learn something? Can we express something new, something different, something? Can we do that? That's a very interesting question. What can I learn from all of this? Whatever situation you're going through, ask yourself this question. What can I learn from this? And when I ask you to ask this question, it's not, you dumb, you have to learn. No. Kindly ask yourself, what can I learn from this? I don't like it. It sucks. I'm scared. But what can I learn from this? And sometimes you will not know what you've gained from an experience until you're out of that experience. So you may not be able to see how an specific experience is serving you right now because you're right smack in the middle of it. Maybe down the road where you are moved through that experience, you look back, you go, oh my God, I have learned so much from this. That's usually the case when it comes with challenges. Often when we're in the middle of a challenge, we don't know what we're learning. Not only that, we're not focusing, oh, what am I learning as I'm suffering? No, that is not what we're focusing on, generally speaking. We can, and it actually would be very helpful, but we often don't. When we are suffering, we just want it to end. I don't care what I'm learning from it. I want it to end. Well, let's say the suffering ends, but you don't understand how the suffering began. Let's say a suffering ends and you don't understand how suffering began. You begin to create suffering again because you haven't learned. Because you haven't derived anything out of that suffering experience. What can you learn from now, right now, from your experiences going forward, that you can emphatically say to yourself, this is what I've learned. Even if it was something as small, which is, by the way, very big, as I've learned to avoid this. I've learned to avoid this person. I've learned how to say no. Whatever it is, draw just one significant conclusion that can help and enrich your life going forward. And then what you will see is that when you look at the challenge, or when you look at your own type of suffering and you recognize the value you get from it, somehow the suffering it's not that it becomes less, it becomes more of an opportunity to learn from something. Okay? And let's face it, you know how they say that Earth is like school. Well, what's the purpose of school? The purpose of school is to learn, right? I mean, we can have a different dialogue about the ways things are taught. That's on the side. I'm not talking about that. But school is for learning. The purpose of going to school is to learn. Okay? So if we are here to learn, then we must assume that we are in a process of learning something. Right? We're always learning. We may not always be conscious of what we're learning. We may not always be conscious of the significance of what we are learning. Some people choose not to know about themselves. I know it's interesting statement. Why wouldn't someone want to know? Why would someone want to remain ignorant? Because it's comfortable, yet uncomfortable at the same time. To these people, the discomfort of change is greater than the discomfort they're experiencing right now. I'm going to leave it at that. The greater the discomfort level, the chances are the greater the experience that you are experiencing right now, which is an opportunity to gain knowledge, to gain awareness, to learn from. What is humanity learning right now, I wonder? I'm sure there's many things. What is humanity learning right now? I just heard the question, why are we fighting all the time? That's a good question. Why are we fighting all the time? With ourselves, with other people. We're constant fighters on the inside. We fight ourselves all the time. Why do we fight all the time? Do we need it? Do we want it? I mean, sometimes people fight because it's, it's something fun to do. But generally speaking, nobody really enjoys a fight unless it's, you go to a boxing match, it's fight, but it's, it's very contained. It's a sport. Generally speaking, people don't really enjoy fighting because you fight enemy. Why would you want to constantly battle with your enemy? Yet that's what we are doing all the time within our own selves. Our ego is the biggest opponent. It's interesting because what I got was the ego is a master and the slave, both at the same time. The ego plays the master and the slave. That's very interesting. The master and the slave. So part of your ego plays a role of a master and part of your ego plays a role of a slave. Which part are you living more out of? The master or the slave? And that's a metaphor, okay? Think of the symbology, okay? The master is in control, master is in charge, the slave is not. It's the opposite. The master has control of the slave. Thank God slavery doesn't exist anymore, at least legally, because it still does, unfortunately. We see it playing out in the world all the time. Oftentimes when you think of the idea of master and a slave, it's usually not a great relationship. It's one of inferiority. So which aspect of you are you playing out more? The slave or the master? Are you an authority or are you the one enslaved by an authority? That's a metaphor. Okay? For example, there's a part of you that punishes you all the time. So you are being punished by you. You have two opposing aspects, one that's punishing and one that's being punished. Is that you? Do you punish yourself all the time? Do you enjoy being punished or the punisher? Do you enjoy that? If not, then ask yourself the question, why do I do it? Why do I punish myself all the time? What's the whole point of punishment? Why do I punish myself? What is that gonna get me at the end of the day? What do I get from it? Why do we punish ourselves? And for what? For not being a good person? Okay, let's look at it. What makes you a not good person? If you believe that you are not a good person, change that. It's in your ability to change that. You are the authority of yourself. If you believe that you are a bad person, change it. Now, let's define bad, because that label has so many different connotations. Some people may call you a bad person because you are attempting to communicate with spirit. They will say you're a bad person. Okay. Some people will call you a bad person because you tried to murder somebody. But both are bad people. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And there's everything in between. So just because you believe yourself to be a bad person does not mean that you're a bad person. Of course, if you've hurt somebody, if you continue to hurt somebody, if you are being mean to people, if you are gossiping, if you are spreading rumors that aren't true, then, well, yeah, your intention isn't as good as it could be. Change it. Change it. Do it now. Or perhaps you're not a bad person. Perhaps you're not a bad person at all, but you just call yourself names for self-punishment. But again, punishment for what? What are you punishing yourself for? You're punishing yourself that you're not good enough? Okay, whose standards? My own. Okay, so wait a second. You're saying that you're punishing yourself for not being good enough, but you are the one that sets the standard. Well, then change the standard and stop punishing yourself. You see how easy that is? Change your standard. If you feel you put standards too high for yourself, and that you're punishing yourself for not achieving them, lower them. Reach those, and then put them higher. It's super easy. Okay? Unless it comes from your conditioned thinking, which means this bad idea has been conditioned into you. Your identity is tied to the label of bad, and somehow you feel you're a bad person because you've learned to identify with yourself as a bad person. You're bad. Don't do this. You're going to be bad. Again, if you're hurting people, I wouldn't call it good either. But if you believe that, let's say, connecting to spirit is bad, well, that's a belief system. You could choose to believe that if you want, but I wouldn't consider it bad. Some people might, yes. Some people who are scared of it, yes. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad. That's what I'm doing. It's what I'm doing right now. Whatever you need right now with regards to information is readily available to you right now. That's what I'm being asked to say. You ask, we speak. All you have to do is ask, and the universe speaks. Now, the universe may not speak to you with a voice like Joanna is speaking with a voice to you, although it may come through her voice. The universe speaks in various different ways, through other people, through, dare I say, social media, through a friend, through something you see, a book you read, even a bird that comes to you and looks at you and you can't help but think that that's your dad. The universe connects with you and communicates with you in various different ways. It's in unlimited ways. The question is, do you listen? Do you believe that the universe connects with you all the time? But getting back to the statement that whatever we need right now, whatever we need, all we have to do is ask for it and then pay attention to what shows up. Okay? For example, if you have a decision to make, and or let's say you're working on something and the door keeps being closed, like you're working to open a door for yourself, but it keeps being closed, or you're running into some obstacles, you might be asking, is this the right move for you, for me? Is this the right move for me? You might hear crickets. You might hear nothing. Maybe by not hearing yes, maybe it's a no, right? At the end of the day, you have to trust yourself in terms of what you receive from the universe and trust that the universe always delivers. Whatever you need right now, ask for it. I heard someone say, I need more money. Okay, ask the universe to help you attract more money. Notice what I said, the word attract. Ask the universe to help you attract more money. In fact, what I'm seeing is, if you are asking for money, money is right there. It's right there next to you. This is symbolizing to me that money is readily available, but you have a condition, you have a limitation that is not allowing you to be in possession of it. Okay? So then the question becomes, if there is a limitation you hold about money, I've talked about this many times, but money is a thing. If you have a negative, lower vibrating limitation on money, and you are constantly struggling with money, and you're asking the universe to provide you with money, the universe cannot violate your free will. Because if you're conditioned to believe that you will never have money, you will never have enough money, money is always going to be short, I can never afford it. If that is your condition, if that's your belief, the universe cannot force its will on you by giving you something you don't believe in. It can't happen. It's a violation. The universe doesn't violate its own laws. You might attract money and then magically it goes away. You won't know how to keep it. So in fact, you might be experiencing money coming in, but you won't be able to keep it because your own conditioning belief system around money is not in the same vibration as the money that you want. So if you are asking the universe for more money, since I said you can ask forever whatever you want, yes, but understand that if it's something you're asking for, but it's something you're not in possession of right now, which makes sense, then we might want to identify why you're not in a possession of it right now. If you're not in a loving relationship and you want a loving relationship, what could possibly be standing within you in your own way to attract a loving relationship? Perhaps on some level you're afraid of being in a relationship. For whatever reason, everyone has their reason. If you're afraid to be in a relationship, chances are you will not be a great attractor to the relationship you want because you're afraid of it. You don't want it. We generally don't want things that we're afraid of. We run in the other direction. Okay? But those are the things that we need to see internally. They're deeply, 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 deeply held beliefs and systems. However, what I feel right now is that these systems, these belief systems, these limitations, I should say, corrupt way of doing things, okay, whatever that means, they can be easily observed right now. They're coming up to the surface. So I feel globally, we might be seeing things being exposed and other people trying to keep it down. I don't know what it pertains to, but I'm not going to go too much into it. As a matter of fact, we're almost halfway through the year. Well, in May already. The 2023 year projections, if you haven't listened to those yet, the link is down below, and I think I'm going to give you 50% off for a few days. So if you haven't listened to them, they're quite extensive. Each one is almost over an hour long. So, and I cover a lot of global things in those projections. So if you're interested, there's a link down below. Thank you for reminding me. All right. So I'm going to split this in 2 videos so it doesn't become too long. And if you would like to listen to the pick a card, that's going to follow. If I see you in the next video, thank you so much. By the way, if you ever want to work with me and my team to help you grow, essentially, and to embody your own greatness, you can reach me. There's a link down below. I would be honored to work with you. And let me know in comments how this message feels to you. And I look forward to see you in my next video. Otherwise, I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.